Good morning and welcome to Wednesday. This morning, as we wake up, we're reminded again of George Floyd. And on the news this morning, we learned of reactions that were taking place overnight in Minneapolis. And I wanted to remind us of the words of Martin Luther King Jr. In response to 1966 Summer of Riots. In a speech he gave to Stanford University called The Other America, and I want to read a portion of it. I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. Certain conditions exist, and while we condemn riots in the final analysis, a riot must be understood to be the language of the unheard. And what is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the promises of freedom and justice have not been met. And it has failed to hear that large segments of white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice, equality, and humanity. And so, in a real sense, our nation's summer of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay. He argues the way to stop citizens from rioting is to acknowledge and fix the conditions that they are rioting against. It's kind of what Colin Kaepernick has been trying to do, and we notice how vilified he is for pointing out the conditions that would cause him to kneel. And similarly, as we think about what's going on in Minneapolis in the news, are we more concerned about what happened to George Floyd or that Target has lost some merchandise? White Americans have to get our stuff together, and we, among those things, have to keep educating ourselves and helping to educate others. And one of the things we can do very easily, especially when we're home and sheltering, is to read, is to become more educated. And so I thought I'd share with you a few books that I would recommend. If you know me, one of my favorite books, most transformative, is Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. And if you haven't seen the movie about his life, I encourage you to do that too. Another option is called Stand Your Ground, Black Bodies and the Justice of God by Kelly Brown Douglas. Then there's Michael Eric Dyson, who's written some amazing stuff, and I think Tears We Cannot Stop is perhaps the best book he's written. It is so accessible, so simple, and so important. This past month, our book club at church read White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo. It's an important read. And then this month, right now, our book club at church is reading How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. And you can even read that and then join the conversation on the second Thursday of the month. So you got a couple weeks. We have got to change the conditions that would lead to George Floyd, that would lead to people responding as they have done in Minneapolis. We have to remember Black lives matter. Keep saying it. Keep saying it and have a good day. Bye.